Again, I hope sa panahon na ito, maliwanag na sa atin yung purpose ng Book of Revelation. Again, hindi ito para takutin tayo sa ano mangyayari sa inahan. But yes, it gives a glimpse kung ano yung nangyayari sa inahan. You have to understand na sinulat ang Book of Revelation 2,000 years ago. Again, it is a memo. Hindi po siya book actually. It's a parang set of instructions for the churches and how they would. And during this time, the churches are battling so many issues. Na yung mga issues na to, hindi na naman bago sa atin. Nakita na natin yung false teachings, false prophets, false ideologies na kinakaharap ng mga churches. Which is hindi bago ngayon. Hindi bago ngayon. And I do remember speaking to you, I have certain friends and people that I know na nasa mga churches na tumalikod dun sa mga turo, ng mga essentials na turo, ng salita ng Diyos. For example, the issue ng same-sex marriage, the issue ng LGBTQ. And this will continue, itong mga issues na to, magpapatuloy na. Diba? And kami, minsan, nagulat kami ni Camon, meron kami kaibigan na nagsabi na, he's glad to hear that homosexuality is not. Diba? Medyo natungkol kami ng gano'n. Ito pinag-usapan namin, pinitrace ba namin, hindi na lang galing turo na to. And kahit yung mga, siguro yung mga young generation, right, kakaharap yung mga ganitong issue. And, like for example, yung Ateneo a few weeks ago, one of the religious orders sa Catholic na medyo tinitingnan ako ng gusto, yung mga Jesuits, because of their writings, because of their... And one of the sa history, isa sa mga tumatayo dun sa issue ng sovereignty at saka yung sumulat na si Molina, sumulat siya ng isang theological argument regarding sa sovereignty. And I really like it. And then, he's a Jesuit priest. And a few weeks ago, nagkaroon ng mass Ateneo for LGBTQ, for gender justice, to give justice dun sa mga oppressed members of the LGBTQ. That's so sad to hear that even the bastion of ating conservatism, kasi kung mapapansin niyo kung bakit sa hindi ma-approve ang same-sex marriage sa Pilipinas at hindi ma-approve ang abortion sa Pilipinas. Kasi yung mga writers ng 1987 Constitution ay mga conservative Catholics. Okay? Isa na doon si Father Jose Bernas, na isang pare, pero isang abogado. So, kaya hindi ma-approve yung same-sex marriage dito kasi dinefine sa Constitution na atin ang marriage. Dinefine din sa atin ang conception sa Constitution. Kaya hindi siya mabali ano ngayon. But sabi nga, meron ako na kaibigan na nagsabi na nakilala ko a few weeks ago na isang doktor na nag-advocate siya against abortion. Sa Ireland din daw, gano'n. Sa Constitution nila, nakalagay yung dinefine kung ano yung marriage between one man and one woman, at dinefine din yung conception at yung protection ng dapat sa mga unborn, to protect the unborn. Nakalagay ko yun sa Constitution ng Ireland. But within 5 years daw, na-reverse ang kanilang Constitution. At tinanggalan sa kanilang Constitution. So, from then on, we are not safe. So, kaya, yung pagsasabi rito, the angel of the Lord, nung nagpadala ng mensahe si Jesus Christ, through John, na-warning na ninyo ang mga church na ito yung kakaharapin ninyo sa inaharap. Nandun na tayo sa stage na yun. At tinataharap na natin yung mga ganitong issue. And the last church, the Church of Laodicea, sorry, wala po tayo PowerPoint ngayon. Medyo old school po tayo. The Church of Laodicea, hindi naiiba yung kanyang struggle dun sa ibang mga churches. Just a brief background about Laodicea. Diba pagkaratan natin yung Thyatira, Pergamum, and so on. Yung church of yung Laodicea, the place itself sa Asia Minor, is a very wealthy and self-sufficient city. Sabihin na natin para silang Pasig or Makati, meron silang surplus ng kanilang wealth. So technically, katulad ng ibang churches na dahil sa mayaman ng city, mga churches nila, pang mayaman. Mayaman din. Diba? Kasi may mga members sila mayaman. Just like in other places, the place is known for their textile production. Why? Diba bakit laging yung laging may kinalaman sa fabric yung pagkakaroon inside society? Now, during this time, yung technology po kasi ng paggawa ng same technology ng paggawa ng papel, paggawa ng ibang materials. So, kaya yung mga city na gumagawa ng kanilang mga textile fabrics, yung mayaman po talaga ng gusto. Now, the city is also known for their medical advancement. Meron mga nagsasabi that the city is also known for ointments, balms, para mga yung city known for that. So, malamang mag-uusap ako sa Laodicea. So, mga essential oils. And the city is also known for their water. Diba? Katulad ng Singapore is known for water, for lack of it. Diba, binibili pa rin sa Malaysia yung tubig. Pero yung Laodicea is bound between two reservoirs. Yung kanilang hot springs at ang kanilang water from the mountain. So may dalawa silang sources ng tubig. Mainit at saka malamig. So they created an aqueduct. Dapat nakarating niya sa mga bahay nila yung mga tubig na yun at taga-halo-halo na. Lukewarm na yung kanilang mga tubig. But yung lukewarm na water, so kasi gagamitin po natin yung definition ng lukewarm mamaya. Yung lukewarm kasi is a very good temperature to grow bacteria. Kaya di ba yung mga lukewarm na tubig, ang sama na lasa, lalakaw sa Samaria, kasi nung nagpapagkaratory kami, so kailangan ng urinalysis. So nagpo kami sa hospital, pinailan ko siya ng mga 500 ml ng tubig, na mineral water. Sabi niya, of course, yung tubig sa hospital, naka-display lang. So, technically lukewarm siya. Sabi niya, it tastes bad. Pero kasi yung brand ng water na yun, it's the same brand na pinipili namin ng malamig sa 7-Eleven. Or, di ba, para sa kanya, parang ang sama ng lasa. Ako naman, tinitignan ko, isasabi na talaga the temperature itself is not good. And also, because the water in Laodicea is from hot spring and from the mountains, pure siya ng bacteria. And bacteria are dormant because of temperature. So, pag nag-lukewarm na siya, nabubuhay yung bacteria, nabubuhay yung mga minerals. So, doon na preserve. Sinasabi rin ito, I will speak you out of my mouth. Kasi nga ito yung temperature na masama na yung lasa kasi nabuhay na ulit yung mga bacteria sa tubig. Now you get the point. Wala akong kinalaman. Bakit gano'n? I will speak you out of your mouth. Because of the word. Di ba sabi nga yung mga Kristiyano na natin, Kristiyano mainit. Yun yung typical na ginagamit na kaming symbolism sa ating spirituality. But it's not like that. It's actually telling about Na yung wala ka ng purpose kasi hindi ka mainit, hindi ka malamig, you don't put any purpose on that, parang wala kang silbi. Yun yung description ng lukewarm water. The same thing when you drink coffee, di ba? Mahilig pa ako kuminom 2 tasa kaagad sa umaga. And minsan hindi ko na pumubos yung 2 tasa. Naiwan ko siyang malamig. At hindi ko na iinumin kasi lumamig na siya. Diba, the same thing with our Coke. Pag hindi mo na ubos yung Coke, iwanan mo dyan, parang wala kang ganang inumin kasi hindi na siya malamig. It has no purpose anymore. The temperature doesn't serve your purpose anymore. Now, keep that in mind. Yung description ng lukewarm. Now, sinasabi ko sa inyo yung context ng lukewarm. The context of the word is because of the geographical location. It has nothing to do directly with spirituality, but it has something to do with the way that we entertain what's or our purpose. Diba? Kung ikaw ay mainit, diba, ang purpose mo is to warm up. Kung ikaw ay malamig, your purpose is to freshen up. Diba? Yun yung purpose, diba? Yung parang ang ganda ng malamig yan eh. Your love. I feel the warmth, I feel the chill, di ba? Yun ang ano. Now, ang theme po kasi natin ngayon is Jesus my master. Now, the word master right now is a very controversial word. Why? When you go back to the word master, it always denotes slavery. Di ba? And ang idea natin ng slavery, pag sinabing slave, actually, ito yung slavery. Ang idea natin ng slavery, ako po kasi nagturo ng history. Kung napanood niyo yung movie Amistad, di ba? Yung movie Amistad, bago po yung Amistad, yun yung ginagamit na pang slave trade. Yung Amistad, pumupunta sila sa Africa, nagbabayad sila ng mga tribo doon. Yung mga tribo na yun, magkakapsure sila ng ibang tribo na ibibigay nila doon sa mga traders na Amistad. And of course, throughout time, yung word na slavery became bad. Pero kung babalikan natin yung history sa Bible ng slavery, hindi naman talaga siya bad. Why? If you look at how the Jews or the Hebrews practiced slavery in the past, they have a very strict requirements in owning a slave. And the main purpose of owning a slave is for protection. So, protektahan mo yung slave mo at yung family ng slave mo. At the same time, while the slave is serving you, that slave and their family also protects the master. So yung concept of slavery in the Old Testament was actually more for dependency. Sa ngayon, pag ginamit natin yung word na master, di ba, mas gusto natin yung word na master kaysa sa slave. Pag ikaw ay nagtatrabaho, ayaw mong sabihin ikaw ay slave. Di ba, I'm a slave to no one. Di ba, I'm a master of myself. Kasi yung society natin, nagtuturo na magiging independent. Pero kung babasahin niyo ang Biblia, walang concept ng independence. Because from the time that we were created, we are always dependent on something. Kaya nga sa puso natin, there's a desire to be married, there's a desire to be part of a family, there's a desire to work, there's a desire to be a part of a community. Because we are wired to be independent. We are wired to have a master. We are wired to have a moral objective. Na meron tayong pinagbabasihan ng lahat ng purpose ng buhay natin. Kaya, mga kapatid, we are very strong into the issue of context. Kung ano ba talaga yung sinasabi ng Bible? Now, when we say Jesus as our master, does it mean we are slaves? Well, if Jesus is my master, by all means, I would like to be a slave. Diba? you would be slave to the one who had given his life for you. Diba? Diba kaya ang purpose ng slavery was actually protection. The master protects the slave and the family. And the slaves has commitment to protect the masters in his family. Diba? Yung concept na, diba, kung babasahin po natin ang Old Testament, pag-aaralan natin yung history ng slavery. Actually, napaka-strict ng rule nila pagdating sa pagbubuo ng slave. Now, in the servitude, it's still a freedom. Kung halimbawa ang isang slave, naging slave siya dahil may utang siya. Hindi nangangahulugan na yung amo niya kailangan siya abusuhin. Pag naging master ako, malaking responsibilidad yun. Kasi I need to make sure na itong slave na to, makapabayad ng kanyang utang, pero hindi ko siya abusuhin at magbumuhay ang kanyang pamilya. Napaka-noble na idea ng slavery, di ba? At the same time, there's also the idea na actually nilimit lang sila ng 6 years. Now, if the slave decide to serve a lifetime, 50 years lang yun actually. Now, for 50 years, the master needs to let them go. Pati kasama yung mga prisoners. Ang reason po na kasi para walang generational slavery. Or, the next generation, at least the third generation, they will have a choice ano magiging gusto nila sa buhay nila. The Bible in the Old Testament were also very strict when it comes to fair treatment. Diba? Even the kidnapping of slaves, Hebrew slaves, foreign slaves, at saka yung option for permanent serving. The Jewish or the Hebrew law or the Levitical law was very strict on that. Pero again, sinasabi ko nga na the main purpose of slavery, when we look at the Bible, was actually for protection. Because slavery itself has a moral and spiritual accountability. Now, the same thing when we say Jesus is our master, then we consider our slaves to the master who has protected us from the beginning. Diba? Ano ba ang commitment ng Diyos? Nagagawa siya ng para ibalik niya tayo sa Kanya. So, kung si Jesus ang master natin, now, there's no reason for us to say na slavery is actually bad. Kahit si Paul had mentioned that I am a slave of Christ, I'm a slave of His truth. Diba? So ngayon, paano natin i-reconcile yung sinasabi to the Church of Laodicea and Jesus is my master? Now, when Jesus is our master, Jesus requires live servants. Servants who are alive. Dapat most of the time, tumating tayo sa punto ng buhay natin na enough na paniniwala ka. Enough na I go to the church. Enough na may fellowship ako. Or enough na alam ko na merong Diyos. Kasi balang araw siguro gagawa naman ang paraan ng Diyos na mas marami mo pa siya. But what is required for us is to live out our purpose. Katulad nga ng dalawang klase ng tubig. Warm and cold. That out of whatever God had told us to do, we will fulfill that. Kung halimbawa, tinawag ka ng Diyos na maging mainit sa mga bagay na kailangan mong gawin, then that's the purpose. Kung tinawag ka ng Diyos na malamig so that you can bring to freshen up the spirit of somebody else, then live that way. But we cannot be lukewarm. Why? A lukewarm spirituality is a place where bacteria and other things can grow. But kasi pag lukewarm po tayo, it means that we are ready to entertain whatever belief, whatever idea, whatever things that makes us comfortable. Tandaan po natin, Ngayong pananampalataya natin Kristiyano, never really called us to be comfortable. Diba? Sabi, ulit-ulit ko, lagi ko sinasabi nito, those who wish to follow me must deny himself and take up his cross daily. Kaya lagi natin sinasabi ng asawa, when it comes to obedience, comfort should not be a factor. Because when you're obeying God, you will be subjected to the most uncomfortable part of your life. Even to yourself. May mga bagay na, like for example, friendship that I have to let go. Simply because it doesn't glorify God. Relationships that I have to let go simply because it doesn't glorify God. Mga pangarap na gusto ko sa buhay, I have to let go. Simply because it doesn't glorify God. So when we put ourselves in a position that we are lukewarm, tumatanggap tayo ng malamig, tumatanggap tayo ng init, diba? Sooner or later, whatever wrong ideas, whatever wrong ideologies will grow in us. Kaya nga nagtataka ako mga kapatid. I mean, it is clear now. Bakit sa dinami-dami ng mga Kristiyano, marami mga Kristiyano na kakilala. At the end of the day, you will hear friends, families who will deny Christ. I remember, siguro sabihin na natin, Joshua Harris, but we welcome the teachings of Joshua Harris. I was waiting for the adulting, yung mga gano'n. Tapos suddenly, Joshua Harris, sinabi niya na humingi siya na, ibigay na apostate, namanipot siya sa pananampalataya. Diba? Sinabi niya, lahat naman ito, he doesn't really believe. I even have friends who committed themselves sa idea na for many years they struggled, for example, with their sexuality. Pero dahil popular na yung woke culture, at meron community na nakaramdam sa kanila, they came out. I could be a gay Christian. You have to understand when you put an adjective to being a Christian, you remove whatever Christ died for. Kaya nga mga kapatid, importante na malinaw sa atin na pag tayo ay mananampalataya, nagsisimple tayo sa Panginoon. At pinagsisimplihan natin siya base sa mga bagay na pinigay niya sa atin. Whether it is talent, whether it is wealth, that the moment that you let go of those things, the moment that you let go of that, then you become lukewarm. You become a place where you can grow bacteria and other things. Diba? Naalala ko yung dati, gusto ko magpapatutunan ng kabuti. Diba? So, matin ako ng mga seminar na pagpapatutunan ng kabuti. Yung kabuti, saan sila tumutubo? Sa makilim, dam, na lugar, mamasama-masama. Ito maraming galing ng konti. Pero hindi pwede mainit na mainit. Diba? Kasi pag pwede mo mainit, malulusaw sila. Diba? Ganyan yung mushroom. Diba? Diba? Pero, saan ba nag-grow ang mushroom? Sa mga bagay na nagugulo. Diba? Pero, I'm not saying that the mushroom is bad. But I'm just using it as an illustration na sana yung pananampalataya natin o yung buhay natin, hindi siya puti. That we become excellent sa mga bagay na gulo. That we become successful sa mga bagay na mabaho. Diba? So you have to understand that when we say that Christ is our master, we cannot be lukewarm. Because he needs something that is alive. And a lukewarm water is actually dead water. Diba? Yung sa palagay ninyo, bakit hanggang ngayon nag-explore mga scientists sa Antarctica at sa Atlantic? Kasi nandun yung mga bacteria na posibleng mabuhay. In reality, there are things that are dormant because of its temperature. Diba? There are organisms that's dormant when it's warm. There are organisms that's... Kaya nga, sinasabi dito, yung ginamit na illustration is basically because of the geography ng Laodicea. Nakaka-relate yung Laodicea, pati sa lukewarm water. Diba? Walang gustong uminom ng lukewarm na water. Because niya rin mabuni, posibleng mabaho. Diba? Pansinin ninyo, hindi ko lang alam kung ako yung may problema. Pero, nung iniinom ni Samaria yung tubig, it is not around. Sabi niya, it has smell, Daddy. Imagine niyo, tatlong 500 ml yung inumus. Hindi siya nakakit. Diba? Parang, no, I have to finish this. No, I have to finish this. No, ako naman, tinitikman ko, inaamoy ko. Paano wala naman sa akin? And I'm afraid of that kind of spirituality. Diba? Na hindi mo na na-detect yung kung ano yung mabaho at hindi magandang lasa sa iyong pananampalataya simply because you are lukewarm. Diba? The same thing when meron po akong app, meron po kasi kayo mga asong pagkakakulit-kulit sa bahay. Nagkakaroon ako ng dog whistle app sa phone ko. Tapos sineset ko po yung dog whistle app yung sa part na talaga hindi mo na siya naririnig. Tapos one time, inuwan ko yung app. Ako naman, hindi ko naririnig yung app. Tapos nagreklamo si Shiloh at saka si Samantha. Daddy, what is that? Diba? Hindi ko alam kung siguro talaga nakakailan. And there's always a danger when we age as Christians. Pag medyo tumatanda tayo, nagiging tolerant tayo sa mga bagay na mali. And that should be a warning to us. Mga kapatid, if Christ is our master, we get a new one. We need something that is alive and is living out His word. Ikalawa, mga kapatid, if Jesus is our master, Jesus requires a dependent heart. Right? Revelation 3:17 and 18. It says here, 3:17, for you say, I am rich, I have prospered, and I need nothing. Not realizing that you are wretched, able, poor, blind, and naked. Now, this is the problem with wealth. This is the problem with personal needs. It tends us to bring into the idea that we don't need anybody in our life. Diba, ito yung tinuturo ng mundo sa atin na kaya maging independent tayo. Diba? Bakit? Kasi nga, pag independent ka, you don't need anybody. I have wealth, I have money. Pero ang sinasabi rito, katulad ng warning dun sa church, we can assume that the church is rich. Diba? Kasi nga, ano sila sa city na pang-mayaman. And this is also saying here, you say, I am rich, diba? Prospered and need nothing, not realizing that you are wretched, able, poor, blind, and naked. If Jesus is our master, we can only be dependent on those who Christ. If Jesus is our master, we can only be dependent in His comfort. If Jesus is our master, we can only be dependent in His freedom. Take note of that. If Jesus is our master, we can only be dependent in His freedom. Two opposing words, dependent and freedom. Tandaan po ninyo, wala naman nagbalaya sa kasalanan. Wala naman nagbalaya sa atin sa idea na tayo ay makasalanan maliban kay Jesus. Kung nakuha mo yung idea na ikaw ay makasalanan sa isang magazine, sa isang teacher, nang wala si Jesus Christ, then it is not freedom itself. We can only know what is true freedom if we are only dependent on Christ. That our heart only belongs to Him, hindi sa mga pangarap natin. Guys, ulitin ko, brothers and sisters, I have nothing against wealth. Because I know people who are rich, who are wealthy, and they have a heart for God. Pero hindi ito ang dapat maging basihan natin. Kung dapat kung sabihin natin, ay, meron ako rito kasi dependent ako kay Christ. It doesn't always like that. It doesn't always equate that just because you are dependent to Christ, kailangan mayaman ka, masaya ka, kailangan may ganito ka. It doesn't ensure that's prosperity gospel. The only true dependent heart of Christ to acknowledge Him as a master. Wala tayong ibang pagkukunan ng anumang bagay natin. Anumang idea sa buhay natin. Maliban dito. Pangarap man yan, hinaharap man yan. Sometimes, mga brothers and sisters, napapaisip ako, Lord, ba't hindi mo ako ginawang mayaman? Ba't ako ginawang teacher? Ano naman yung mga sa... Tapos na-realize ko, nung nag-review ako ng mga kontrata ng mga boss ko, ng mga teacher sila for 20 years, 30 years, kasi kailangan ko silang report, kailangan ko hindi ko talaga, kailangan ako mag-report sa check ng mga list ng mga faculty namin, ng mga heads of school. Kasama yung kanilang ranking sa school, salary grade, and so on and so forth. So, I'm given the access to personal records ng mga boss. Kasi realize ko, wow, pwede pala yung mama ng teacher. Tapos sinasabi ko sa sarili ko, ako hindi ako nasa maling profession. Pero, just the idea, entertaining that idea, there is a tendency that you sway yourself that you will not be dependent. Sabi ko, ay, kasi na ganito kasi meron silang master's degree, may doctorate degree sila. Ay, magmamasters na rin ako, mag-doctorate na rin ako. You get the idea that just because ito yung gusto mo mangyari sa iyo, you tend to be dependent into this idea. You remove Christ of the equation. You tend to create your own path. Diba? So nawawala yung dependency mo kay Christ. Yung dependency mo nandun na sa accomplishments. Doon sa mga papel na tatanggapin mo that you would say that you have a master's degree, that you have a PhD. Diba? And that's one thing na natutunan ko that I realized working with so many people that you can have so many letters after your name or before your name, but it doesn't guarantee anything in the future for you. Right? Especially when we talk about eternity. Our hearts should be dependent on the only master that we should have. It's because of eternity. Dahil naiintindihan natin na sa oras ng kamatayan natin, ang kasama natin sa Kristo. If that's the case, our heart should only be dependent in His truth. Because His truth speaks of eternity. Diba? Wala nang iba. Wala nang ibang sinasabi yung kanyang katotohanan except a relationship that is eternal. Diba? Kaya mga kapatid, pag nating hayaan na yung puso natin, sasabihin ang puso natin, sundin mo kung saan ka masaya. If that's the case, you are in danger, brothers and sisters. Diba? Ang sabi sa mga commercial, gawin mo kung ano mga kapatid. So, di ba ang puso mo? Diba? Guys, you will hear us say that so many times because we are working for the next generation. Ito yung mensahe pinakaharap nila. Diba? I'm just thankful siguro katulad ko ng mga anak ko. One time, diba na-ipag ko sa inyo, binigyan namin si Simon ng sapatos. Diba? We are set for a specific budget. Again, meron naman kami rito para sa sapatos na pang-laro niya ng sports kasi kailangan yung talaga. Siya naman napamahalan. Can we buy something cheap? Sabi ko, ako naman proud na ako na tatay na mabibigyan ko siya ng something na maganda. Diba? Tapos, one time, meron siya, nasa bahay siya, may short siya na sirahan yung hunter. Bumili naman kami ng bagong shorts. Sabi ko, anak, please throw that away. Diba? You have new shorts. Why? I can still wear them. Covers my body. Diba? I just pray that my children will have that kind of attitude. Yung kanilang assurance ng kanilang yung security nila doesn't depend on the things that they have. Kaso, sabi ko sa anak ko pag tumanday. Kasi katulad niya, si Shaka nangihingi na ng pera kasi nga meron na siya na diba? Sabi niya, ako na masaya kasi hindi na siya. Diba? May bloomer, nilalaki. Sabi ko, anak, sabi ko, mga profile. Sabi ko, okay marami kang tropa, pero invite mo naman yung margin ng yung mga friends. But again, a dependent heart to the master, the one true master, will be always in the idea of eternity. Ano ba yung eternity sa atin? Mamamatay tayo bad, God will float us, God will bring us to heaven, God will give us a mansion. Ano ba ba dadalhin natin? Wala naman tayong dadalhin. Para saan yung mga pangarap? Para saan yung mga master at PhD? Don't take me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I have nothing against those things. If those things will help you achieve your purpose for Christ, so be it. Diba? Kasi nga, katulad na libawa ng mga kakilala namin nasa seminary, they have PhDs and master. Kasi, ginagamit nila yun para turuan yung mga susunod na leaders ng church. There's nothing wrong with that. Kasi they're fulfilling their purpose. But if you're dependent only on this for your success, for your security, then there's something wrong with your heart. And lastly, mga kapatid, a dependent, if Jesus is our master, Jesus requires an intimate fellowship. Intimate fellowship. Okay? Mga kapatid, dati natin sinasabi na our faith is not a religion, it is a relationship. Well, there's nothing wrong with that statement. There's nothing wrong in the statement that we say that our faith is a relationship. Totoo naman siya. Pero you have to understand that hindi natin pwedeng in this regard, the idea na ano ba mga bagay na pinaniniwalaan natin tungkol sa Diyos, tungkol sa morality, tungkol sa eternity, it's still a religion. The problem when we always say that it is only a relationship, everything focused on yourself, on me. Sa sarili mo lang. Diba? But the reason why, when we have Jesus our Master, He's not only the Savior, He's also the Lord of our life. Kaya when we say intimate, it means that we get to know our Master. In the Old times, in the Old Testament, yung slaves, alam niya lahat ng affairs ng kanyang master. Even to the point of honeymoon. Diba? Yung mga bridesmaids, diba? Some of them might be considered slaves. The same thing with groomsmen. Some of them are considered to be slaves. They know the affairs. Why? Because they live together. And isa sa mga strict rules ng slaves, they should live with their master. They know the affairs of their masters. Diba? Kaya sa Pilipinas, meron dalawang klaseng alipin. Alipin na mamahal, alipin sa gilid. Yung alipin ng yung kasama ng Panginoon or Master sa bahay. Ang katurbas nun sa modern time, katulong. Diba? But you have to understand, napaka-noble nung purpose na yun. Kasi para tulungan yung master, but they could fulfill the affairs that they have. Affairs in their society, affairs in their family. Yun yung purpose ng slave. Now, when we say intimacy, it means that even to the smallest details of your life should be surrendered to the master. Diba? Kaya nga, ang purpose ng slavery is for protection. When a person becomes a slave because of death, or utang, or pangangailangan, even in the Old Testament, dahil napautang ka, there's always a tendency that you will become automatically the master ng pinautangan mo. Pero, not everybody will immediately say na, sige, ako na yung master mo. Because based on Hebrew law or Levitical law, pag tinanggap mo yung role ng pagiging master, kailangan ko proteksyonan mo. Yung buhay mo, bubuksan mo yung doon sa slaves mo. At yung kailangan, alam mo rin ang affairs ng slaves mo dahil you need to protect them in their family. That's intimate relationship. Mga kapatid, nung nakilala natin si Jesus bilang Kristo, when we became the slave of our faith, and because He became our master of our eternity, bawat kaliit-liitang hibla ng buhay mo, lahat ng sulok-sulukan ng mga bagay pinapangarap mo, dapat na isuko mo sa Panginoon. I would understand that there would always be struggles in the things that we want in life and the things that God wants in our life. Walang masama na you pray to God, you say what you want, you say your struggle, you say that you struggle with unbelief. There's nothing wrong with that. It means that you are opening yourself to the idea na alam mo na itong master mo na ang makakasolve ng bagay. And that's the reason why slaves are required to tell everything to their masters, even to the point na mag-aasawa sila. Diba? Kasi meron silang 6 years service, but that they can have, after 6 years, pwede sila magsabi, I can serve you in a lifetime. The lifetime is actually 50 years. After 50 years, pag nagkaroon na ng mga anak at ako yung slave na yun, pwede mo pakawalan. So that the next generation can do whatever they want. But as a master, I need to know kung ano yung mga, and that's the reason why I admire modern day idea ng pagkakaroon ng katulong pero pinag-aaral. Pero modern day katulong pero tinutulungan mo sila na mag-improve yung buhay nila. Diba? Not in a lifetime that they will be like that. That's the same thing with an intimate relationship with Christ. Sinasabi nga rito, in verse 20, sabi rito, verse 20, let me read that to you. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come to him, eat with him, and he with me. Well, ano ini-invite tayo sa atin ng Panginoon Yesu Cristo? An intimate relationship. When you open the door, pinapapasok mo siya sa isang lugar kung saan ka secure. Diba? Ikaw ba magpapapasok ka ng pinagpapagnanakaw sa bahay mo? Diba? Hindi ka magpapapasok na pinagpapagnanakaw sa bahay mo, diba? Pinapapasok ko lang sa mga bahay mo. Gusto ko silang ipatikit. That's what but the idea is, your house, take note of the symbolism. Your house is your secure place. Your door is a form of security. Diba? Minsan yung mga, yung mga pinto na yan sa napunta pa yung mandado. Kami nga may CCTV sa bahay. So, take note, pinapapasok mo siya sa loob ng bahay. Pero hindi lang siya papasok sa loob ng bahay mo. Kakain siya kasama mo. Kung yung tao nagnakaw sa inyo, iimbitahin mo ba kumain? Hindi ko iimbitahin si Dominic sa bahay. Siya alam ko nagnakaw. Hindi ko iimbitahin si Nakikita sa bahay. That's not a political thing. That's just a joke. Diba? That's a reporting pala, no? Pero that's the idea. Kung halimbawa yung tao kinalamog na nagnakaw sa iyo, sasabihin niya, sige papasok ko tayo naman sa bahay mo. Isipin mo, inakawal mo na ako, pakakainin pa. Diba? I mean, an intimate relationship, it means that you remove all your security. So that this person, this master, can give you the security that he promised. Yun yung invitation ni Jesus Christ ng kanyang intimacy. Pag sinabi natin intimacy, wala kang ibang security maliban sa kanya. Hindi siya yung maging security guard ng bahay mo. Pero nandun siya para sabihin sa iyo kung ano yung totoo. In-invite mo siya sa bahay niya mo para pagalitan ka. Pero mga ganyan kanya, di ba? Sa practical yun, may mga ganyan sa akin na for so many years na hindi mo nakakita, i-remind sa iyo yung mga bagay na ginawa mo kanino malika. May mga ganyan pagdating na reunion, di ba? But what I'm saying is, it is very important that when we say that Jesus is our master, you put your guard down and you let His promises be your security. Ano ba yung mga pinanako niya? Sabi niya, if anyone hears my voice, through, diba? Open the doors, diba? Realization, diba? I will come to him. Acceptance, diba? And eat with him. Peace. Ano pa bang security ang hinahanap natin doon? Diba? Ano ba bang kulang sa formula na yun? When it comes to intimacy, diba? Sa may mga kasawa, there are many facets of our intimacy. Diba? The modern world would call it languages. Diba? But the idea is that it needs to be done. It needs to happen. The same thing with our relationship with God. Hindi pwedeng pinapasok mo na siya, nakain mo siya, nag-usap kayo, nagkaroon kayo ng magandang diskusyon sa buhay. Pero, the moment na uncomfortable yung situation, uncomfortable yung katulungan niya, sasabihin mo sa kanya, Jesus, lumabas ka na ulit. Diba? Diba? I must admit, brothers and sisters, there are things in the Word of God that still very comfortable to you. But I have to accept that as a truth. Not because hindi ko siya naiintindihan, or I won't dwell in the issue of Christianity. But I won't dwell in the idea that because of my intimacy with Christ, because I pursue intimacy with Christ, I would trust His truth. Naiintindihan mo man ito ay hindi. Pero dahil sinabi niya na ito ang katotohanan. Pagka pumanong hindi ang katotohanan ito, like for example, the idea of heaven. Yes, brothers and sisters, I still struggle with the idea of heaven. Why? Kasi nandun yung idea namin, kasi may mga kamag-anak ako, may mga kaibigan ako, na nasa impyerno. Diba? You would struggle. I have struggled with that. Kaya nga hindi ako humihinto sa idea that I will stand here and tell you the truth. And the same thing, If God don't know, if I had every time I would have an opportunity to tell the truth to other people, I will tell that. Because nandun lagi sa akin ang idea na kapag ito mag-anak ako nasa India. Definitely. Hindi ka na ako nasa India. I struggle with that. But because I pursue my intimacy with Christ, I trust that the hell is part of His love. That hell is part of His mercy. Yes, it might sound two opposing ideas, but if there's no hell, how can He show His mercy? How can He show credit? How can we have that? I'm not be able to explain everything. That might be from another case or another thing. But the idea is when we are intimate with the Master, everything He says is the truth. So mga kapatid, we have done 7 churches, 7 struggles, 7 places, 7 ideas, and there's still many more to come when it comes to the idea of the second coming of Christ. There's still more when it comes to talking about eternity. Pero at this point in time, mga kapatid, I hope we will not be lukewarm. Live our life for God. Whatever He has given should be only for Him. Jesus is our Master. He has given us the example of faith, dependence, intimacy. There's nothing more to ask except to accept that. Nananalig tayo.